Currently in Goma, we have large displacement of populations, over around 130,000 in and around Goma. And we have whole entire swaths of North Kivu, where there are estimated tens of thousands around we call it Bord de Lac, going towards the South Kivu, and many displaced populations in areas of Masisi, over 60,000 households, which would be well over 300,000 people in camps, in displacement sites, and in host families. There are great humanitarian concerns. People have been moving so much in the last few months, they've missed planting seasons. So we have great concerns for food security, for malnutrition of children at quite alarming rates. There have been so many groups of armed actors in the zone that they've been recruiting children for labor and for fighting. Children don't have access to school, and many people are displaced at the same time and are fleeing for their lives. The IRC, as well as many organizations, would never turn away survivors. So while we talk often about women and girls, it's because they face increased risks. It's because quite often, more than not, they are the largest population affected by certain types of violence, and certainly sexual violence is one of those. And women and girls have very specific needs and specialized services. That means that women and girls have only 1 week to prevent an unwanted pregnancy, 3 days to prevent HIV, and for really critical life-threatening injuries, sometimes only a matter of hours. And so this is the reason why we say often when we talk about women and girls that they have to seek services in a certain time frame. And this is, I think, to put it in perspective, just imagine that your mother, your sister, your daughter is attacked today, is raped today. Can she wait weeks or months for help, for healthcare? No, and we say that is the same for women around the world, whether it be from women in London to women in Latakia, Syria, or women from Paris to women in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. That women around the world need to have access to these life-saving services. And the same, of course, goes for men and boys. I think if we talked about women in the Congo and for what they're doing for their communities, how they are as teachers and mothers and nurses, and how they are in terms of what they're driving forward for their children, instead of only we don't even talk about them as survivors of violence, we talk about them as victims. And I had a great opportunity to talk to a group of women in a village, and I said, I'd like to tell you that, in other countries, they only see you as, and they only hear about you as victims of violence and conflict and victims of rape. And the woman, an IRC colleague, translated for me, and they said, and they were furious. The room lit up with emotion. That's not us. We don't wake up in the morning and say we are a victim. I'm a mother. I'm a farmer. Look what I do it's so far from who I am. And it was really powerful to have them have this reaction with me and then talk about and take me around their village to show me who they were. Which again, is just not that far from a little bit change of skin color, slightly different clothing, but not that far from you and I. They had shared so much with me during the day about their lives and what they do, and really personal information about some of the violence they experienced. And before I knew it, I just felt safe and that I had to share something as well, and I blurted out that someone very close to me was raped at the age of 8 years old. And more than all the material Western goods that she's amassed and lives a comfortable life in the US, I wish that she'd had a group of women like them to support her, to help her heal. And I waited for the translator, kind of feeling a bit vulnerable, and the translator finished, and the women all reacted and were angry and took in breath, deep sounds of breath, and were very upset. And finally, one of the women next to me said, they brought us an 8-year-old yesterday who had been raped, and let your friend know she's not the only one and she's not alone. And then the women around the room began sending messages for her of hope, that they were with her, that they would think of her, that she's not alone. And it was this very surreal and powerful moment for me to be in this room, this hut, with these women in tattered clothing and with very little. And they were not victims, and they were not survivors, but they were teachers and leaders to this woman in a faraway land in a fancy building in the US. It's luck about where we're born and who we're born to. And I could very easily have been a woman trafficked in Cambodia and a woman who has fled to a displacement site in Darfur, and more personally, because my mother's from Haiti, a woman under the rubble in the earthquake. And I'm very conscious of that incredible luck and opportunity to then do something with the luck that I have. And I think it also helps me see the humanity in everything that we are doing, that we can often think of a very difficult place and circumstance and say, wow, that's terrible, but that's an alien thing to me and I don't really understand it. And yet I can sit and find incredible things in common with women in a village in Bosnia and people under a tree in Kenya. And I think we'd be very surprised how we all laugh the same, cry the same, live the same, talk about many of the same things we want to do with our lives, that we want for just a simpler, better future in many cases.